Your gut houses your gut houses over 100 trillion microbes, which are bacteria, viruses, and fungi and other organisms. Can anyone guess how many zeros are there in 100 trillion? There are about 14 zeros in 100 trillion. You can imagine how many microorganisms are residing right in your gut. So they actually play a very crucial role in maintaining your health, not just physical health, also mental health. Microbes in your body outnumber the human cell 10 to 1. If you have, it's just, that might be fascinating, but according to the size of the organisms that reside in your gut, they are very tiny compared to the human cell. So they are completely outnumber your human cells as well. Collectively, they weigh about 2 to 3 kgs of microbial fingerprint. So it's also the fact that they also accommodate a small chunk of your body weight as well. Microbes are introduced at birth, especially via delivery, and shape diet, especially fiber, environment, antibiotics routes, stress and sleep, and lifestyle. So let's understand how our microbes are introduced primarily into your body in the first place. When a baby is delivered in a normal delivery, not through C-section, when a baby is delivered, the baby is you can when you try to imagine a newborn baby, you can imagine the baby covered with bodily fluids of mother. So that is where the baby was first exposed to gut bacteria or any kind of microorganism through be it blood or any kind of body fluids. So through that, the baby will actually incorporate her first exposure of microorganisms and is also shaped by diet, especially fiber. And because of the actually microorganisms feed on fiber and they live inside your gut. And this is a very important factor that we will explore more. And also because of the environment. If you look at the person who is living close to earth, close to the soil, somebody who is uh, been exposed to a lot of nature will have a lot of gut bacteria. And somebody who is living in a very tight environment where there's not no soil, no there's when the individual is not in touch with any kind of soil exposure or any kind of when you look at a corporate individual, that individual is not exposed to any kind of bacteria or virus in his lifestyle. And also antibiotic use. Using antibiotics will also have an impact on your gut bacteria. And also having a lot of stress and your circadian rhythm and how your lifestyle is composed, even that plays a very huge role. And the fascinating fact is, if you zoom out, the ratio of microbes in your body to stars in our galaxy is comparable. We are not alone, we are a walking ecosystem. So actually, you can see here the ratio of microbes you carry around in your body are the same as the amount of galaxies you have in the universe. And in the next slide, we'll now explore the connection of gut with the brain, how the gut talks to the brain. The gut-brain axis, a two-way superhighway. Gut and brain are connected by a vagus nerve, a bidirectional communication line. There's a nerve which is connected in your gut, which goes right across your heart into your brain. So this is a nerve which is a part of the parasympathetic nervous system, and it is also responsible. It also controls involuntary bodily functions in your body, and it also controls mood and various other things. So this is actually a very unknown fact for everyone. A gut produces about 90% of serotonin, or your feel-good transmitter, and 50% of dopamine, your motivation and reward chemical. Through these percentages, you can actually understand how directly your gut is responsible for you to either feel good or motivated or recharged or stressed, whatever. Gut microbes produce neurotransmitters and metabolites that influence mood, cognition, and behavior. So So gut microbiomes will actually help neurotransmitters and other influences, and which will actually impact on mood, cognition, and behavior. Emotional states like anxiety can change gut function. Gut states like inflammation can trigger anxiety and depression. And here, this is a two-way pathway. When you're anxious or depressed, you can actually see inflamed. You can actually have inflammation symptoms in your gut. When your gut is inflamed due to various different factors, like I've previously mentioned, you are also very much prone to have anxiety and depression. What happens in the gut doesn't stay in the gut. So whatever goes on in your gut doesn't just stay in there. It is also impacting your rest of the nervous system. It is through vagus nerve. It is impacting your neurotransmitter levels. It is impacting your hormones. It is impacting your mood. It's not just one-way process. So gut disruptions and IBS. When the gut troubles, understanding disruptions. Poor gut health, microbial imbalance. Dysbiosis. This is a condition when you have a least amount of microbial growth in your gut. And the very common causes are having a high sugar and low fiber diet, which is literally the meaning of a processed food. Having a lot of stress going through, if you're not able to manage stress in your life, and even that will impact your gut, and your gut will impact your anxiety and depression as well. And also by using a lot of antibiotics, it's like pouring acid over a well flourishing field. You will actually uh, you will actually see that the when you pour some acid onto a plant, it will die, right? It's the same with antibiotics. I suggest, even in my personal experience, I take antibiotics only when it's much needed, not when I'm having a mild fever or anything. Because I personally also very good care of my gut bacteria. I also understand what kind of impact antibiotics will have on my gut. And also, your gut bacteria will also keep a track of your circadian rhythm. If you're not sleeping well, if you're sleeping late, and if you're having not enough good amount of sleep, which is about 8 to 9 hours, your gut bacteria is gonna sense that and it's not gonna work well. And also having a sedentary lifestyle, which also impacts digestion, right? Having a sedentary lifestyle will impact mood and my gut microbiome. It's a three-way process. This leads to leaky gut, intestinal permeability. This is the condition where you will see in autoimmune diseases as well. Uh, do you remember studying the gut lining in your school? You actually have a small villi-like structure of trying to absorb the food. They are present to absorb your food. But when your gut is inflamed and going through a lot of also having low amount of microbial growth, your intestine is very much prone to have permeability. Your gut lining is gonna turn very thin, which is through which your gut bacteria can flow into your blood. And having a low grade inflammation, you know what inflammation is? Impaired neurotransmitter production. Like I've mentioned, about 90 to 50% of neurotransmitter production is done in the gut. So by affecting gut bacteria, it can also affect neurotransmitter production. You can also have mood disorders and brain fog and fatigue. Mood disorders are depression and bipolar disorder. This is a common symptom. If somebody's going through depression or any kind of mood disorder, they also very much prone to have inflamed gut, a leaky gut, brain fog. Brain fog is something where you can't think straight, where you not have enough clarity, when your cognition doesn't work to the fullest potential, and it's just a lack of clarity and fatigue because of the sedentary lifestyle. And you also feel not very active. You will be very demotivated in doing any kind of task because dopamine is produced in the gut. And this is a condition called irritable bowel syndrome, which is a psychosomatic disorder. I think everybody is aware of psychosomatic disorder. If anyone is not aware of it, I'll explain to you. Psychosomatic is a condition where a mind influences the body. It is a place where it is a condition where your mood, if you are in a not a very good state, it will actually show physical symptoms. And mind and gut fueling each other's fire. So if you're not feeling good, if your mood is impaired, your gut is very much prone to be impaired as well. If your gut is impaired, your mood is going to be very much impaired as well. So in common people, high stress and anxiety and trauma disorders and trauma history will also be having irritable bowel syndrome. Gut brain theory improves symptoms more than diet alone. So as psychologists, we overlook the fact that even we overlook the fact that the possibility of having a gut and brain relationship. So having a gut brain therapy, going through actually recommending a gut brain therapy for the client will go a long way. Inflammation, autoimmune diseases, and gut, where fire rages within inflammation and immunity. Gut inflammation is the root cause of many autoimmune disorders. Yeah, this is a very underrated fact that gut inflammation is actually it's causing autoimmune disorders like rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes. Who could have thought that type 1 diabetes is caused by an inflamed gut? Psoriasis and acne, a lot of skin issues are caused by, you know, weak gut. A leaky gut can cause the immune system go into overdrive, attacking healthy tissue. So this is a condition where your own immune system is attacking your gut lining, which is causing permeability, which is actually making holes, tiny, tiny, piercing into your gut, where your gut lining is, you also tend to not absorb your food to the full extent. 70 to 80% of immune cells reside in the gut lining. Poor microbial balance, increased gut permeability, triggers inflammation, contributes to autoimmune responses. So, as like I have previously mentioned, having a lot of good microbial growth in your gut will also help you not have an inflamed gut, and it's very beneficial for you. But if you're not having a if you're having a poor balance, you're very much prone to have inflammation and autoimmune disorders, autoimmune responses. And having these kind of disorders is not cool. Anyone I have met having a rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis, I personally met a person who has a psoriasis, and she has been depressed ever since she was diagnosed since last 2 years. And the first thing I suggested to her was to change her diet, because that's an autoimmune disease and she can actually change her life. Psychobiotics, healing mood with microbes. Psychobiotics, probiotics for the mind. Psychobiotics are live organisms. When ingested in adequate amounts, produce mental health benefits by positively altering gut microbiota. So these are psychobiotics. Let's break it down. These are medicines. These are live culture of organisms turned into a medicine, where these are actually given to people who are going through anxiety and depression, because it's a proven theory that it reduces the symptoms drastically. And you can also include these psychobiotics yourself. I'll tell you in the next in coming sessions how they help reduce symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stress. Regulate cortisol levels and GABA production. It will reduce stress, depression, and anxiety. Having a good bacteria will also reduce these symptoms, improve emotional resilience. They will have a very good clarity of what they're going through, and they will become very aware of what's happening in their life. So they will be able to take rational decisions. with no brain fog and not feeling fatigued. Examples of psychobiotics are lactobacillus and bacteria. You will find these strains in curd as well. Some strains of probiotics works as natural anxiolytics. So, like I previously mentioned, psychobiotics can be also taken for people with anxiety. It's a very proven thing that it will reduce a lot of symptoms. A gut's role in neurological health, memory, mood, and microbes. Poor gut microbiota is linked to brain fog, memory loss, and neurodegeneration. You have, like I previously mentioned, there's a vagus nerve connected from your gut to the brain, and it's directly affecting how your brain is gonna feel as well. Having a brain fog, memory loss, and neurodegeneration, and also going through, and also people with Alzheimer's and dementia, even they tend to have a poor gut microbiota. Chronic inflammation affects blood-brain barrier, allowing harmful substances to reach the brain. Like I've previously mentioned, if there's a leaky gut, which is having a permeability in the gut, the bacteria or any kind of possibly harmful microorganisms can go into the bloodstream directly to the blood and into the brain. So you can also find very not so good substances reach into your brain. And there is no the protective layer itself is being damaged. Certain probiotics reduce progression of Alzheimer's and dementia by lowering inflammation and oxidative stress. And by taking certain kind of probiotics, you can actually slow down your diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. They are known to be occurring at around age 70 or 80, but these days we find them happening at around 50 or 60. And the main reason is because of an inflamed gut and poor gut microbiomes. Gut dysbiosis can lead to colon cancer. And there we go. Colon cancer. How can you have cancer because your gut is not well flourishing with gut microbiomes? Well, that's the reason. You need to have a good gut microbiome to beat any kind of disease. There's a very powerful quote by Aristotle. He has mentioned that every disease is firstly generated from the gut around 2,500 years ago. And here we are coming up with so many other researches day by day proving the fact that yes, your gut health is impacting your mental health, your immune health, your heart health, your brain health, everything, your skin health as well. Fiber-rich diets and fermented foods can reduce risk. So this fiber-rich diets will act as a prebiotic, which is going to act like a food for the microbiomes. And fermented foods will also will exist. Will already have some kind of strains of bacteria which will feed on this fiber-rich food and will grow immensely in your gut. Good bacteria and bad bacteria. You must have heard many people talk about good and bad bacteria. The battle within friend versus foes in your gut. Good bacteria, which aids digestion, synthesize vitamins like B12 and K, supports immunity, improve mood and brain function. When you have good gut bacteria, it will also feed on your food that you're consuming and in turn produce a lot of enzymes in return, which will also aid in digestion of other substances. It will also provide you vitamins like B12 and K. It will support immunity in a way that when there is a lot of culture growing in your gut, you have a supportive layer on your gut. Any kind of harmful bacteria which is prone to have an infection in your gut is not directly reached onto your gut lining. So the possibility of you having an infection is very much lower. And it also improves mood and brain function, like we know the neurotransmitters are produced in the gut. Bad bacteria triggers inflammation, produces toxins, contribute to bloating, acne, and low mood, disrupt hormonal balance. As everybody has already know that hormonal balance is very important for a mental health as well. Because however you feel, your hormones as well, hormones also change as well. So having a bad bacteria, you must be hearing like where this bad bacteria is coming from. It is grown on food which is high in fiber, which is high in sugar, high in carbs, and a lot of processed food. When you eat such kind of food, you facilitate bad bacterial growth, which will trigger inflammation and produce toxins. You will have a bloated stomach, you will have acne, you will have a very low mood, prone to depression and anxiety, and you also have a hormonal imbalance. So you can't out supplement a bad diet. No probiotic can undo damage from ultra processed food, excessive sugar, or chronic stress. You might be thinking now that if I eat whatever I want and substitute with some probiotic pill or psychobiotic, it's good. It's good for me. But no, that won't be the case, because the amount of probiotics that you take can never match the amount of ultra processed food that a person consumes. Having a deep fried item followed by a fruit which is high in fiber cannot outbalance each other. The food is both of them are going to go into your gut, and you're creating a balance. There's no promoting whole health, and you're not going forward, you're not going backward. It's just the common balance. Sometimes you might even end up going backward. IBS, when the gut feels the mind. Irritable bowel syndrome, a psychosomatic puzzle. We'll get in detail with the IBS now. A psychosomatic gastrointestinal disorder strongly influenced by mood, stress, and trauma. So people who have a mood disorder or undergoing a lot of stress or PTSD or going through any kind of trauma, they also go through a lot of gut issues. They tend to have pain in the abdomen. The symptoms are bloating, diarrhea, constipation, anxiety, and low mood. The stress caused by the mood disorder or the trauma will affect them having a gut spasm, which will create a lot more pain and which will result in a lot more of stress. So it is directly linked from the gut. You are having more stress, and this stress is triggered again to have more of these disorders. So break the loop with food plus therapy and lifestyle. So you must have heard so many people tell you that food is medicine. You can take your food like it is medicine, and that will work that will work for you as a therapy, which will relieve you from stress, protect you from any kind of disorder that you might have, that you're prone to have, and it will change your entire lifestyle and approach towards life itself. Cravings, cortisol, and the gut. The psychology of cravings. Why we crave? We often think that we crave because we're just craving. We're just in the mood of eating something sugary or in the mood of eating something ultra processed. But that's not the case. Imbalanced gut bacteria can manipulate cravings. Example, sugar-loving microbes scream for sweets. These sugar-loving microbes have a very amazing mechanism which is not working for us, that they actually trigger whenever you consume sugar, these microorganisms feed on that sugar and they produce dopamine, telling your brain to eat more of such food, which is not helping your gut. These are the bad bacteria which is growing in your gut, which is prone to have a gut permeability further ahead. Stress elevates cortisol, which spikes cravings for carbs and comfort food. So, whenever you eat something sweet or anything, it'll, it'll, even if you're stressed, it'll create cortisol, which will also spike up the cravings of eating more of that sugar, carb rich, ultra processed food. And that becomes an entire cycle. Emotional eating is often gut driven, not just willpower based. We often think that emotional eating is in a way of soothing our stress or some kind of mood disorder. It's like you feel like you're comforting yourself by having something sweet or sugary. But in a way, your mood is not deciding you to have that craving. It's your gut. It's the microorganisms which are growing in your gut are deciding are the decision makers for you to eat whatever you want to eat. And we can actually make a very sustainable plan to survive this by not also missing out on the food that we like, the food that we actually like, and the food that is actually good for us. This is the 80-20 rule. Eat healthy 80% of the time, treat yourself 20%. This will create a guilt-free action. Throughout the week, let's say 10 days. Not a week, but let's take 10 days. 10 days, you're going to eat healthy for 8 days, and you're going to keep in mind that there are going to be 2 days for you to eat whatever you want. And that will also help you keep the habit of eating healthy, because you always know that there are 2 days ahead of you where you can actually have time to make a wise decision of eating whatever you want. So this creates sustainability. This is not just about cutting down foods completely, not eating anything from whatever you like, not eating anything which is sugary or processed. It's actually creating a place where you can eat whatever you like and also eat whatever you should be eating to maintain your health. Fermented foods and fiber reduce cravings over time. And I'm telling this from personal experience. Consuming a lot of fiber followed by probiotics like fermented foods will help you not crave that sugar, ultra processed food over time. Because you're starving the microbes which are wanting that sugar from you. You're starving the microorganisms which are feeding on that ultra processed food by not giving them what they want, because you're going on that 80-20 rule, right? And you're incorporating your gut with a lot of fermented food and fiber, which will actually fill your entire gut with good bacteria, and you will not have craving. If you have a craving, you will crave to eat more fiber and fermented rich food. You will crave to have good healthy food. Build food awareness one tiny step at a time. Track it, hack it. Food journal and habit building. Begin writing a food journal. Write down what you eat and how you feel after. This is a very powerful technique of tracking down your food habits. Keeping a food journal separately, just a tiny book. Write it on your kitchen platform or dining table. Making sure you note down whatever you eat. You don't even have to manage the first few weeks or days of your life. Just begin writing down whatever you're eating, followed by your mood. Write in 2 different pages. And you will actually understand how your food is impacting your mood. By this, we are creating awareness within you that you don't just have to believe me. You're doing it for yourself and actually putting that in action, looking at yourself, looking at that journal, writing it on a paper, followed it by how you're feeling, will actually create an awareness. If you're having a sugar craving, if you eat that if you eat something like that, you're also not gonna feel that great later. So it'll help you track it down. So you'll actually believe what's happening. You won't just go it with your eyes closed. Link feelings to food: bloating, calmness, energy, and mood swings. So whenever you're eating something, come back to that same journal a few hours later and notice how you're feeling in your stomach. Notice how vigilant you are, calm you are, or energetic you are, or fatigued you are, and any kind of mood swings. Just note them down. It's a very good step to form a habit. And for making this a habit, there's a book written by James Clear, called Atomic Habits, which has this is something that I've read about 4 or 5 years ago, and it has been very powerful, and it has been life changing. It has made my life easy, so I'm suggesting it to everyone. First thing is to make it obvious. Keep a journal on the table, be it your dining table, be it your kitchen platform. Keep it very obvious that the minute you write it down, the minute you eat your food, it should be very obvious for you to reach out to that notes, reach out to that journal and make a note. Make it easy. Write just one word after each meal. Instead of writing one full paragraph or filling up an entire page of how you're feeling and what you ate, just writing one word after you eat, after even if you're checking your mood, just writing one word about each thing will make it easy for you to proceed that habit forward and make it satisfying. Notice how much better your body feels. Awareness is the first step towards healing. So we need to become aware of the fact that how it's affecting us in the first place. Then we can go on and make other changes regarding it. If you're not aware of the fact that we are not feeling good, and it's the fact that it's affecting us in any number of ways, there won't be any place for improvement. You won't even believe, you won't be even motivated to do anything. So bringing awareness to yourself is the first step. Become the experiment, be the example. Heal thigh gut, heal thigh practice. So I think most of us here are psychologists. So before we get a lot of clients who are having mood disorders or going through a tough life phase, having a lot of stress or constantly anxious. So addressing this fact and checking in on their diets, how they're eating, how clean is their food, what's their sleep schedule, will bring us an awareness, bring us an understanding of what exactly that individual might be going. So this is a very hidden fact, how a gut can influence your mind, but like I have previously mentioned it is a very impacting thing. So as psychologists, before we preach it on to our clients and to our family or to anyone, I encourage every one of you to do it yourself, because only then you will get a better understanding of how it actually works in your body. And when you eat clean, balance microbes, and thrive, clients and family observe. So you become an inspiration for your clients as well. Your clients and family and friends will see you as an example and get inspired of your habits, of your food habits, of your resilience, of your sustainable habits. You will become an example. Your journey becomes a living testimony. Health isn't personal, it's social. It echoes. Like I have mentioned before, if you are Being healthy, it's not just the fact that you're doing it for yourself. If the people around you look at how good you're doing, how good your mood is functioning, how resilient you are, how effectively your mind is functioning, it's contagious. They tend to observe it and they tend to ask you, what is it that you do that you're so happy? And you can preach them, tell them, give them tips, and it goes on. Don't just study it, live it, preach it, and share it. So this is not just a study where I've understood and kept it to myself. I try to tell this fact to as many people as I can, and I hope every single person who's listening to this might do the same thing. So this is the experiment. I invite you to try it for a week or two. You will actually see a difference in your mood, your gut. You will be much more healthy. Even a bloated gut will feel like a fatty, like you will feel fat if you're bloated. So it's a way that you can actually look good physically, mentally, emotionally, hormonally, and everything. So the mind gut mirror. The gut reflects the mind and vice versa. Like I have said, the gut reflects the mind and the mind reflects the gut. It's like a two-way process. Whatever happens in the gut happens in the mind. Whatever happens in the mind happens in the gut. Almost 90%, like I've previously mentioned, 90% of serotonin is made in your gut. If you're cultivating a lot of good bacteria and promoting and eating a lot of high fiber rich food, you will actually feel better. You will have much more clarity than you have ever had. Gut inflammation, with reducing the inflammation in the gut, you will tend to have less brain fog, anxiety, and depression as well. You will have much more clarity as the vagus nerve is connected. It will also different kinds of stress hormones are released, which will make you anxious, depressed. So even that is reduced. Trauma alerts gut flora, reducing trauma alters gut flora, reducing resilience. So when you look at the gut microbiome, it'll create a very it'll help you grow in very different ways. When you calm the gut, you calm the storm in the mind. So when you help your gut thrive, you are indirectly, in a way, you're also helping your mind thrive as well. Understand the biology behind the behavior. So we often overlook the biology behind any kind of emotion or mood. We tend to just address what is the trigger, what is the influence on that mood, and what is affecting on that mood. But we often overlook the biology behind it. And the gut plays a very big role in altering our mood or enhancing our mood, or for integrative healing that respects both the mind and the microbes. So, giving a plan where they can actually eat good to feel good. Of course, they are what they eat, and you are what you eat. A resource plan that speaks to everyone. Gut friendly living, quick, kind, and cultural. Start with fruit and one veggie a day, local and seasonal. You can by incorporating just one single fruit in your diet, and that will make a very big difference. That's how I started almost like 4 years ago. Incorporate fermented foods like curd, sauerkraut, idli, dosa. You obviously know that curd has a lot of live culture bacteria. Sauerkraut is also something where you ferment your food scripts by adding 1 part of water, 1 part water and vinegar with salt and sugar. That will act as food for the microorganisms. And that's actually very tasty. And you also know that idli and dosa is also fermented batters. You have light food cultures in them, which will help your gut bacteria grow better. Drink warm water in the morning, clear toxins, which aids digestion. Practice mindful eating, chew slowly, no screens. So when you chew slowly, your mind gets satiated. It's not just your body which is having a satiated feed. When you chew slowly, you're getting more mindful. The food itself starts change, starts to taste more tasty. So having no screen in front of you when you're eating will also help you not overeat whatever you're eating. You will be mindful about whatever you're putting into your body so that you won't destroy it later. Skip sugar once a week. Notice the change. So have these weeks in your month during where you don't consume sugar for a week, and you will actually feel the change in the mood. And this is coming from a personal experience. 1 pot of herbal tea, cumin, fennel, ginger a day. This is also workable as a prebiotic for your gut. Sleep before 11 p.m. Boost gut repair. So there's a lot of intoxication, like a lot of elimination process that is happening, and that is done efficiently only only in your sleep. So when you fix your sleep schedule, you also give your gut a chance to repair itself. Walk after meals enhances gut motility. You don't need imported foods. You need consistent awareness and local wisdom. You don't have to overdo it in the first week. Just by starting off by being aware of what you're putting in your mind, whatever you're putting in your body, and tracking it down, and starting it very small. Like I said, make it obvious, make it easy. Understand what your current situation is, what your current food habits are, and enhance them slowly. Put them in the direction, turn them into a direction where you want to change them, and slowly incorporate changes. Slowly. It has to be very slow so that your body will not be very stressed out for the change. And that's a very sustainable way to keep the habit, not punch your way into it, and that will create a lot of stress and resistance in your body and mind as well. Gut healing isn't a trend. It's a return to our grandmothers knew. Let food be slow, joyful, and healing. So there's a lot of trend running behind going on around the amount of protein that we need to be consuming. But when you actually look at it, the amount of fiber that we need to be consuming is very much underrated, very much underestimated. Nobody even knows how much of fiber you should be consuming. It's about 30 grams of fiber you should be consuming every day for having a happy gut. Happy gut which works for you. If you want your gut to work for you, if you want your body and biology working for you, this is a very potent way that you can implement in your life. Written to our grandmothers. Let's go back to our grandmothers era and understand what they used to eat. Most of their diet included raw vegetables, fruits, home cooked, less processed. It had a lot of fiber, and that is why they were quite healthy without having dementia and Alzheimer's at such early stage. Now we can detect Alzheimer's and dementia around age 50. Probably they got diagnosed at 80 or 90, and few of them are still healthy. And let food be slow, joyful, and healing. So I encourage everyone to be very mindful about what you put in your gut in order to be joyful, in order to heal yourself. And thank you very much for joining me into this second brain. Do anyone have any questions?
Yes.
This is Veera.